My name is Kevin Onyango, and I'm the founder of Mtandao Varsity. The platform is mostly to talk about soft skills. And these are those characteristics or personalities that attract people to opportunities or employers are looking for. And today, I'm not alone. Today, I am with George Kagwe, the M-Pesa Lady. George, welcome to the show, man. That is it. George, when I tell people that you come to the show, people ask me to do two things. Either to ask you to speak as a M-Pesa Lady or a Cheers Baba guy. Yeah. Which one do you go for? What's your favorite?
I don't know. I like all of them, but the You Get My Guy is the one trending right now. Guys like it, so that's why I even wore the jacket. You know, the half jacket.
I say, cheers, Baba. And that's unbelievable, George.
Cheers, Baba. You Get My Guy. What is up, man? Here, Bana. Yes, good one on Mtandao Varsity.
Oh, George, thank you so much for joining me, man. I really appreciate this. And
also, I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
I've got to let people know that, man, it was so easy to reach you, and you responded to me after some times, but we're here now anyway.
Yeah. Ole, I had gone, I think you reached out to me when I had gone on family vacation or something, and then I got back to just a few DMs, so I just took a day just to reply to most of them. But I reply to all my comments. I try most of my comments, and then DMs, I always reply to all of them. You never know who you meet. You never know who you meet. Of course, there are those ones that are spams, and you can tell this is a spam, this is probably a hacker and stuff like that. But I reply to majority, because even before I reply to yours, what I do is I go check out your profile, and then I see, okay, someone legitimate, and then I reply. You never know who you meet on these streets, right? You could be, you as Mtandao Varsity could be the next big thing in 2021. You never know.
Oh, you're very, very kind. And talking about that, I think you just go straight to the point. Is it just because you're passionate about what you do? Or what exactly drives you there?
I think for me, my passion emanates from my vision. My vision is to bring a little bit of sunshine to everyone I encounter. And the reason why I use a little bit is because I can't bring a lot of, I'm humble enough to understand that I won't bring lots of sunshine to people. But to everyone I encounter, I just bring a bit of sunshine, depending on what kind of a day you're going through. You encounter me and you just get a glimpse of some fun, some little bit of positivity. And so that's what really, and that's why I have to respond to DMs. Because if I don't respond, if I did respond to you, it'd be like, that guy is just like every other personality. They don't respond, or maybe they're under a manager. So for me, I'm not under any manager. And I'll try my level best never to be. And even if I am, I'll be in touch with majority of people. So I try my level best just to be that way. Yeah.
Wow, George. I mean, that's interesting. So, George, before you correct me if I'm wrong, but you've been an actor for a very long time, but I want to use the word break. Your break came in with the M-Pesa Lady. Is that fair to say that? And this is what I'm saying this is so that people can know that you didn't just happen like that. You've gone through a process.
Yeah, I mean, well, my big break came 10 years ago, actually. 10 years ago, I had a big break. I'd done a lot of theater in church, mostly. I'd gone for a few auditions to a lot of theater houses. But my big break came when I did a musical play. And this was with Kijiji Productions in collaboration with Mavuno Church here in Kenya. And what happened then is that production, it was a village musical for Easter. It was put on TV. And when it was put on TV now, that just opened doors for me, because then I got my big break. We did a pilot for a show called Briefcase Inc., which was actually featured on KTN, and it was shown on KTN for 4 seasons. That was a big break for me to be on TV, because one of my biggest dreams was to be on TV. And also I did 2 movies for in 2014, which were on Maisha Magic East. I've also been on billboards. I've been the face of a telecommunication company called You, which was bought off. It was You by ESSA. I was the face of that. I was on billboards, print advertisements, TV commercials, you name it, in the same year. So that was my first big break. And then now I would say my second big break was now the M-Pesa Lady. That would be my second big break in my acting career. Yeah.
Unbelievable, man. I mean, but so if I talk about 13 years ago, I mean, listen, as I said, I'm a huge fan, and what you're talking about, I actually appreciate that. But so where have you been? I mean, so with all those breaks, I mean, you're not being seen on interviews, or, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it because you're just too busy to go to be seen on TV? Like, I'm talking about the number of times right now, like every channel, we know who George is, you go to interviews. But 10 years ago or 13 years ago, that wasn't the case.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, 10 years ago, because I've been in the acting scene since 2005, so that's 15 years. 10 years ago, it wasn't such a TV people thought they were the boss. You know, actually they were the boss, right? They said who comes on, and for you to come on, it was a privilege. You had to be a big name. We were big names then. Yeah, we had a big show, but being called on TV was not a huge thing. Even the channel itself, KTN, we were never featured in any single interview as one, and it was the leading show then on the channel at that point. It was the leading local sitcom, so we were never on TV. So what happened is, I think over the last 10 years, what has happened is media personalities who've come on have understood the value of social media channels and the kind of value that now social media personalities and people who are putting out content, even like Mtandao Varsity, that you have an audience. And now people in media are always looking for audiences. They're always looking to connect with people so that you can bring audience. Back then, being on TV, it was a privilege. They looked at it as a privilege, like we're doing you a service for you, your show being and your face being on a channel, right? So it was hard those days to be able to get a TV or radio interview. Oh man, it's not as easy as it was now today. And I think it's just because of the changes that have happened. You know, now social media is a space. You're the boss of your platform. No one else can tell you anything. So if KTN want to have you, they have to come and write to you and plead with you, please come. You know, any other channel, they'll be like, please, can we have you on board? Can you come and let's interview you? And so it works well for you because now people get to know you more.
Right. And of course, social media now, you know, you don't have to go on TV for people to know who you are.
No.
Let's talk about passion. And again, for those just joining us, this is Mtandao Varsity School of Soft Skills. And this platform, we share those skills or those personalities that employers are looking for or attract us to opportunities. And today I'm with George Kagwe, the actor. George, so passion, how do you develop this passion?
Okay, I think there are 2 things. Number one, passion can be inbuilt. You can be passionate about, say, like you now, you're passionate about soft skills, empowering people in regards to soft skills. Or it can also be earned. It can be learned over time. So over a certain period of time, based on experiences that you've gone through. So you'll find people, so if, for example, you are a caregiver for a cancer patient, you immediately become passionate about people going through cancer, or if you've gone through cancer and you become passionate about that because you want people to learn. So I believe passion is both ways. For me, acting as a passion is something that I think was inborn in me from the time I was young. Now, in terms of perspective, I can be able now to see how I was even in school. I was not a classroom person. I was the guy who brings shenanigans in class. I was the guy whose parents were being called all the time. He's making noise. He's cheeky. He's like, those were the words that described me in school, all through my school life. Cheeky was a huge word, you know, and for me, what that shows me now is that really I was not a classroom person. I was that guy who really wanted the outdoors. And so I was passionate about entertainment. I was passionate about ensuring people are entertained, ensuring people like me, ensuring people are able to view me as a person who will bring them laughter into their life, And so now passion now emanated from that. I was in a few productions in primary school. One huge musical production I was in a school in Mombasa, and that was huge. People really said I was great. I did it together with my sister. I was the lead actor and so on. And then went to a different primary school, also took part in musical events, acting for Christmas plays and stuff like that. So for me, I can be able to see that over the years, I was passionate about that. I mean, I've had different jobs. Even when I was acting, even when I had my first big break, I had different jobs. I was working at our local air carrier, Kenya Airways at that time. But I knew I was not passionate. I was not passionate in that regard, in regards to that job. And that's why I left it now to pursue entertainment as a business.
Wow. When you're in school and you tell parents or whoever's guardian that, that this wasn't your line really, what was the reaction?
Sorry, come again?
So when you're in school and you want to develop your career with the passion to be an actor or being in drama, whatever it is. So what was your parents' reaction like?
Well, I didn't really phrase it that way. Those days, this was in the 90s. You couldn't really go to your parents and say, "Hey, I want to be an actor," because the actors who are there really, the industry at that time was not as advanced as it is right now. And so we had the Mama Kayais, Mzee Ojwang. Yes. Those were the guys we were looking up to. They were really huge icons. But then our parents would reference their lifestyle, would be like, where do they live? What are they doing? How much money are they earning? And so at that time, acting didn't have the big bucks. So it didn't have the big money. So what happened is you could not be able to go and tell your parents that you want to be an actor. In fact, there's a time I even used to admire waiters. And one day my dad asked all of us, my siblings, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I told him I want to be a waiter. And the look of disappointment on my dad's face is like, I'm taking you through all this education. Because I used to admire how they come serving youth. It was, So for me, I had different jobs that I really wanted to be, but I never said I wanted to be an actor because it was already shunned down in society, even in our home. Like there were things you couldn't say. You can't say you want to be a musician. You can't say you want to be an actor. There are things you can't say you want to be a carpenter. And there are things you couldn't say because they were not high up there. Engineer was there, doctor was there, accountant was there. As we grew, as the IT world and the IT era came in, an IT person was something that was up there. So those were the things that were up there. Even saying that you want to be a secretary suddenly became a low grade kind of a job. Yeah. And so for me, I changed a lot. So I used to be asked, what do you want to be? To make people happy, I would say a doctor. And then the conversation flows on. Oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'll be like my dad. I'll be an accountant. Conversation, engineer. So it changed a lot. But all in all, I knew deep down inside me that I won't be none of these guys. Like deep down, I knew that I won't be a doctor, I won't be an accountant, I won't be all that. So what happened is now, as I go into secondary school and I get out and I go into university now, my parents really worked hard. They sacrificed a lot for us to go to university. I went to Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. And what happened is my dad just brought 2 forms and he was like, hey, here are 2 forms. The first one is BCom, the other one is Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. Choose. Now I hated accounts. I hated financial accounting with all my heart. And so I was like, there's no way I will do BCom. BCom, let it stay. I will do IT. And so I went to do IT. I attended 30% of the classes for all my 3 to 4 years. The rest I went to act. The rest I went to find gigs on how I can be able to be a better actor. And I did graduate by, photo finish. I photo finished that thing. I went through and I did graduate. And so for me, there were very many chances for me to be able to say that what I really wanted to be, because I also loved art. I was a fine artist. I did fine art even in secondary school. Even when I got out, I wanted to go to a digital art school to learn the applications. But my dad told me, well, stay home and do what people do after finishing school. You just sleep, eat, get up. Yes. Go try a business, but I'm not paying for you to go to art school. Which artist do you know who is, that was always the talk. And so now as I did my degree, I never saw myself as getting a job, but I did eventually get a job. And FYI, by the way, I've had 2 jobs in an IT field, IT related field, even without my degree certificate. I never showed it to anyone. It's still actually at JQuat. I've never picked it up.
Wow. That is interesting. Sorry, Paul, I'm just going to, George, I just want to move back again. So you sound very passionate about it, and it's good to know this. And George, listen, there are reports out there that most young people, rather than developing their values, like rather than them showing what they can do, they depend mostly on the academics. And in our schools, I think I can guess how old you are, George. And I think you're not. I could be older than you. I don't know. But anyway, in our schools, whenever we talk about this being passionate about what you're studying, what you're doing, and that's what employers are looking for. People that are very passionate what they do, people that are go-getters. How can young people really? Again, I know I've asked this before, but I'll ask again. How can young people develop passion so they can show the employers, or they can show when you look for opportunity, people can feel that, oh, this guy is passionate about what he's talking about.
Yeah, great. I mean, just to bring more value, there are even some people who don't know what they're passionate in. So let me just paint a picture. So for me, for example, once I finished, I was on my way to finish university. This will tell my age. This is about 2007, 2008, right? So I get an internship opportunity to go at Kenya Airways. And I'm just like, this will just be another internship opportunity. This is for my report, my final report for me to graduate, and that's it. So I go into this work environment. You're at the bottom of the crop because now you are an intern. An intern in every work environment, you're known as the bottom of the crop. And so now you don't have the feel and the urge of really trying to do more. But I get into this work environment. I'm taken into the IT department. They tell me there's no work, but they take me to the HR department because they're automating the HR department from manual working papers into automated system. And so I get into this space. I get a good boss. I remember her name. It was Windrose Mwangi. And I start doing this data entry. So data entry basically is I go into files. I get different data on a file in different spreadsheets, physical spreadsheets, and I'm typing this data entry job. And from the data, from that physical file, I put it now into a spreadsheet on Excel, and then we'll import that into a different system. And this job is just the same day in, day out. But my mindset changed. So the first thing that changes is mindset. So how you develop passion, number one, is change your mindset. When you check into a space, don't see yourself as the bottom of the crop. Don't see that job as the most bottom job you've ever done, especially for people who've graduated. And this is where people who don't have papers win over the people who have papers. Because the people who have papers, you go in with an expectation. You go in expecting that because you have papers, that you will get something big. You will get your dream, that it will come true. But the guy coming in without papers has no expectation. Then they're like, hey, any job I'll take to get in there. And once I get in there, I'll work my way up. And so that's the mentality you need to have. You need to have a mentality of anybody would have been given this position, but I have it. So in a place like Kenya, at that time, it was 4,500 employees. Maybe I was 4,501. But I'm like, out of everybody who's from university, out of all the graduates across the country, I'm the one who's gotten this opportunity. What can I do with this opportunity? So first of all, it's a learning experience. You find out if this is what you really want and if this is something you can do and you really want to do. Secondly, it's also an opportunity for you to just develop new skills. So for me, for example, I never did HR. So I'm in an HR department and I'm like, whoa, so is this an opportunity for me to develop a HR career, right, in human resource? And so now I start learning more. I start going in because the day you stop learning is the day you stop earning, right? So I get in and I start now learning more about the HR system within the Kenya Airways company. And I finish my 3 months. I am learning this new system. There's an opportunity to learn a system, an Oracle system. I get another 3 months extended because my boss liked me. And the reason why my boss liked me is because of social skills. So this is another thing. Anybody who's listening, you need to develop social skills. You need to know how to be able to talk to people, converse with people, how to
Where did you know that? How did it? again, how do they develop those kind of social skills that you're talking about? Because they're not taught in school.
Yeah, because they're not taught in school. So social skills here even starts way before even. So it's how do you relate with people when you meet? So the number one thing is always talk about relatable things. So for example, one easy thing, for example, that I can be able to practically show here, social skills. I've just met Mtandao University, Kevin, right?
That's right.
I've just met Kevin, right? I've realized Kevin has a nice tie, right?
Oh, that's you.
I can start a conversation about your tie. I'll be like, hey, Kevin, that's a very nice tie. I've never seen a checked tie like that one. Where did you get that tie, Kevin? Tell me. Where did you get it? And you start telling me, oh, I got it here. I did this, that, the other. Oh, wow. That's where you shop? Really? I really need to up my, can you be able to advise me on how I can up my, how I look and my branding and everything and stuff like that? Social skill 101. Always look for a point where you can start a conversation with someone. So with my boss, it would either be, oh, wow, that's a really decent phone that you have there. She'll be like, yeah, by the way, I don't even know how to operate it. Oh, really? I've really read about that phone, blah, 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 whatever. It can be anything. And that you become likable. People don't like you because of your qualifications and the amount of paper that you have. People seldom will they remember what you said or what you did, but they will remember how you made them feel. So that's something people need to always remember. So when you meet someone, that's why for me it's very important to connect with Mtandao University, because I don't know where we will connect in future. But how I've made you feel today, you will always remember it. You will meet George Kagwe and you'll be like, that guy, man, he was so good. We really had a nice time just having a conversation, right? And so that's social skills 101. And that's what I got extended for another 3 months. That was now 6 months in internship. She extended it again for another 3 months. Now, the last 3 months, she told me, learn this system inside out because I want to give you a contract. Okay? And she even went to the big boss and it was approved. And at that time, I was 24 going 25. At 24, 25, I flew across Africa, around Africa, going training all other offices of Kenya Airways about this system, this Oracle system. I was staying in 5-star hotels. I was riding business class on the planes, you name it, okay, on the tab of the company. But I got my first job. Why? Because I decided, I made a mental note, I will learn this thing, I will become passionate about this, okay? And I will do it, yeah.
So, George, I mean, I can't listen to you the whole day. That's interesting. And I wish I had this kind of stuff, when I was younger. Look, so you're talking about somebody is already at work and they like what they're doing and they want to stay there. But here's a case where it's a graduate, been looking for work for 5-6 years, but have not received that break or that even internship. And again, the research is out there saying that most young people are unemployable because the skills you're talking about, those social skills. Again, I'm going to ask, so where did you go wrong? Is it the education system? Is it the community? Is it us? That's number one. And number two, when you're talking about being likable, that likability, but today we're being told you be a go-getter. You just go and be what you want to be without even having that kind of respect. Like there are people in the industry that have got more experience than you, and the young people really they kind of fail on that in terms of the respect that they should be showing people, because they're like, I'm a millennial, we've got internet, we know how to use gadgets. What would 50-year-old man tell me? That is not that kind of respect.
Yeah, I think I believe where we went wrong is, number one, like you said, the education system. What happened is over time, and now it's good that the education system is changing. Over time, education and rank, what position were you in school, was put so much on a pedestal that it really put a lot of people down. So people's character, people's self-confidence, self-awareness was put down, because every time you go for a family gathering, hey, Kevin, Onyango, what number were you in school? You get? Your cousin has just said they were top of the class and they've been top of the class for the past 3 years. Yes. And you are the bottom, So immediately you become the outcast of society. And so what happened is that puts us in a cage. It's put us in a prison And in this prison now, mentally, it's a prison because now you believe you are nothing. You'll amount to nothing, right? Now, what that does on the flip side, like I've said, it gives people entitlement. Now, the people who are at the top, when you go to school and you get that paper, you come out and you're like, you've been told I have the power to read. Okay, so you come out and now you have that power to read immediately.
Yes.
You become entitled. You become privileged. You become that guy who now, now that I have the power to read, I'm entitled to a job immediately. And what people don't understand is now on the flip side, people who don't have qualifications, they bloom where they are planted. They check into a space, and even if they start as a cleaner, that guy will work so hard and ensure that there'll be top management in that position, or they'll go and start their own cleaning business just from the experience that they've had there. And so that's a mentality we need to have. The mentality we need to have is we need to bloom where we are planted. And by that, I mean, if you've been, just for value, for what the context that you give, if you've been, 5-6 years, you've graduated, you have papers, you've not had a job, 5-6 years, you need to start having a different strategy. How about if you volunteer and go into a space? How about if you intern? Fine. Like even me now, I have probably 13 years experience, but if I'm jobless, how about if I volunteer and I intern and go to a certain company that I want? If there's a leader or management or someone in management position that you really like and is your mentor, how about, or even it's a small business, how about you go ask them and be like, can I intern here? I really want to learn from you. If for anything else, just for learning experience, let me just come and intern here, even if you don't employ me. And then from there, now you work your way up, okay? Either you'll be given a stipend, either even you might not get a stipend, you just
this is the guy I was talking about. Come say hi.
No problem.
There you go. So I'm in my pajamas too.
No,
that's my daughter. See my buddy.
Hey.
Yeah. Just get ready to go to school. Say hi, Alice.
Hi.
Hello. Right. Your 2 minutes of fame is over. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Una shule sasa? No, you cannot sit there, baby. Una shule. Right. Come see you at minute. Put your cap. Bring the chair here. Bring the chair here. Okay, you're gonna listen. Sorry, Paula, but sorry, George, about that.
Don't worry.
Yeah, that's get ready to go to school. Well, interesting, Paul. I keep on Paul, George. I like the you're talking about, going. Oh, careful, baby. Careful. Goodbye. Go ahead. Goodbye. See you later. Don't sit down here. Oh, this is very good. There you go. You be the co-host then, okay? Let's ask him questions. So, there you go. It's very cute. Who's this person? Well,
hi, Mama.
Well, it's a live show. Oh, she's leaving.
Yeah.
Right? Bye, Alice. Cheers. Sorry about that. Well, so you're talking about internship and how people can go and ask for mentorship, but what about those people that again are looking for that internship? And I think it's fair to say that there are lots of people out there that have got unbelievable academic papers but are struggling to get internship. How do those people show passion if they were in an interview or even when talking to people? How do they do that?
So again, here I'll use another perspective. The other thing is, what have you done, especially in this internet age? What have you done for yourself in regards to the area that you're qualified? This may be in terms of putting out free information, trying to get people to learn more about the profession, what you've learned. This may be in regards to also you yourself trying to get yourself out there, speaking about the different things and different aspects in terms of, so for example, if you're in marketing, how about talking about different marketing campaigns that people are doing, and you try and put yourself out there, get your mobile device or borrow one, shoot that, put it out on YouTube and so on, and talk about that, putting yourself out there in such that by the time now you start having conversations with people, you're telling people, hey, look, this is what I normally do. I'm just seeking for an opportunity to be an intern in your organization. So for me, passion cannot be said. Passion is shown. And by by you doing things that are extra, by going out there and being extra in terms of as much as you've not gotten an opportunity, this is what I have done with what I have. You know, that stick that Moses had, you know, that God told him, go set, you know, the Israelites free. So it's the same thing for you. And for me, that's the same thing why M-Pesa Lady was born. M-Pesa Lady was born at a time when I had just shut down my company, my digital company that we had run for 4 years. We had just shut it down. I was a sole breadwinner. My wife was a stay-at-home mom to our lovely daughter. And now I was a position now as a man, I have to look at how will I fend for my family? How will I pay rent? How will I pay the bills? And I remember I had just a great opportunity, and being someone who believes in God, I had this great conversation where God told me I'm lazy. What do you have in your hands? Okay, because now I've been used to this business, this digital marketing business, and I was used to that. And it's like, you have this talent, you're passionate about this area. Pick up whatever you have, shoot content, put it out on the platforms. Let people be the judge. So use social media platforms. And that's what I did. And that's why M-Pesa Lady became huge. It was born out of a time when I was in the lowest point in my life. I had borrowed money till I could not borrow money no more. You know, and I understand those people who are in that position, like you've said. Passion cannot be said. You cannot go to every interview room and tell people that you're passionate. You have to show them by your works. And people cannot ignore the works. They will never ignore. And by the works here, I mean, get creative. Find ways on how you can get yourself out there, especially in this internet period, especially because we've had a COVID year where now we're having interviews this way through a Zoom meeting. This has become the norm. So hold webinars. Even if your webinar has one person and it's your relative, start, do, talk, share content, share value. What have you learned? What are you passionate? What is your passionate area? Start talking to people about it. The social media platforms will take you across borders. Trust me, there are 3 billion people on this internet space. You're telling me out of these 3 billion people, not even one person will really write to you and tell you, I really like what you're doing? You get? And for you, Kevin, this is an example. Mtandao Varsity, you're passionate about this area. I am sure you've knocked on people's doors. You've tried to partner with other people. But now, because you have started this, you're bringing it in a different dimension, right? Now, people will no longer be able to ignore you. The passion will.
Oh, come on, Paul. Oh, yes, you're so good, John. You're really, really good.
Right?
Wow.
Is it true?
No, I feel good myself now. I've never forgot about it. For sure. That is interesting. So you cannot talk passion. You have to show it.
You have to show it. Passion is shown. Passion is results. It's not talking. Passion is results. There's no way I can describe how passionate I am in, for example, acting. People saw it. People saw the video.
I'm seeing it now.
Yeah. Right? People will see it. There's no way I can talk about how passionate I am about the digital platforms. People will see it through my works. They'll see how they've seen me on YouTube, they've seen me on Instagram, they've seen me on Facebook, they've seen me on Twitter, you name it. I trended on Twitter for 3 days, right? I mean, I was being canceled, but hey, that's another experience. So for me, I have to insist on anybody listening, anybody watching, whether you're watching this even in 2040, you have to understand passion is shown. It's never said. And until people understand that, you have to find a way on how you show your passion. Someone who's passionate about carpentry, you have to make a piece of furniture. You have to. You can't say, I'm passionate about carpentry. People will ask you, okay, fine, show us a table. What table have you made? What wood have you ever chopped? If you're a sculptor, same thing. So if you're a marketer, same thing. Show me that you're passionate about marketing, right? And there are various ways you can do it. Find those creative ways. Critique marketing campaigns, all right? Tell people what you'd have done differently, okay? If you're an accountant, same thing. Teach people accounts online. Show people you're passionate. You never know, you could land a lecturing job just because of the videos that you do, right? And that immediately sets you off and you start your own consultancy, you start doing this, you go into this company, so on and so forth. Those are the things that we need to break, especially for us who are qualified, who have the papers. We need to break the mold that has been put. There is no mold anymore. There's a street smart person right now who is also good in accounts, but because they know they are good, they will find ways to ensure that they work in, for example, Coca-Cola. They will find ways because they'll show it.
Wow, oh, George, unbelievable. I mean, you see, when you're talking to me, I'm just thinking, actually, I got my very first job. I was somewhere identifying my work online and given opportunity. So are you saying that if anyone, excuse me, if someone's at home right now, they have not got that break they're looking for, is it their fault then?
It isn't. It's a couple of things. Well, it could, for some like me, I would say it was my fault. Where the position where I was at that point, there's so much potential that has been put in me, but because of the mold that I just talked about, because of the mold of life that I have, so I have a tunnel vision of life. I don't understand that all these things can be able to make. Even now, I always have to beat myself out of this mold and be like, oh, I can try this new thing. Oh, if my numbers are going down, how about I try something new? How about I do a show that will be online? How about I start doing a comical show for podcast? What if I did an animation? There are many things that I can do. So for some people, it's not your fault. It's probably just the system that you've been put through, because it's a lot of things. How you grew up, it matters how you grew up, how you were parented, how it matters, all that stuff. But for you, you need to, I usually say there are different things that you have to go through. Number one, you have to find out what your purpose is in life. Because if you don't know what your purpose is in life, like for me, I know my purpose, to bring a little bit of sunshine to everyone I encounter. That's my purpose. And so everything I do is encompassed and is really all about that. That's its ecosystem. My ecosystem is in that field. And so that can be either through comedy, it can either be through film, it can be through anything that will come my way that I'll become passionate about. It can even be, I'm passionate about agribusiness. I've never done it, but I'll do it at some point. So that will also be something that I can do. So for you, number one, you need to find your purpose. Find your true purpose. Leave alone career purpose. Leave that alone. You were born. So there are two things that you'll ever know. You'll know the day that you were born and the reason why. Okay? So you need to find out, why were you born? Why were you brought on this earth? For some of you, it could be something very different from the career path that you're on and the reason why you went to university to get your papers. But you need to find that out. You don't want to find that out when you're 60, 55, retired. You don't want to find that and try to find it at that time. It will be catastrophic, okay? Because at that time, you're older, you don't have the time to take risk. Yes. You can't do, so you have kids, you have all these things happening. So it is very important for you right now to find out what your purpose is. There are very many tools that can help you to do that online. Finding your purpose, finding your true purpose. There are motivational speakers who can help you. There are coaches, you name it. You can go through training for that for free on YouTube. You can be able to do that. And once you find your purpose, now is to find out the next pillars and the next steps in life that you need to take in order for you to fulfill your purpose. Very important for you to do that. How does it come in line with your career or even the degree that you've taken? So for example, the reason why I say I've never picked my IT degree is because every job I've had, I've never had to present it because my passion showed itself. So I've also run a digital company. Guys, I've never done marketing in my life. But the reason why I started doing marketing is because I found that I tried in 2012 to be a full-time actor, and I found that there's no money for full-time acting at that time in 2012. Today, people can try and do it, and it has more money. But at that time, there was no money, and I was very broke. And so I found a way now, how can I be able to make entertainment a business? And I found how you can leverage on entertainment, harness the power of entertainment for marketing campaigns, how you can do it on stage, how you can be able to bring entertainment creative ideas in order to fulfill internal marketing, external marketing campaigns, and so on. And then now that got into digital. And that's how I started a business. The jobs I've had, I've never had to present my papers because I know what my purpose is. And from that purpose, I have known that this is the end goal. And if that is the end goal, these are the small steps that I need to take. These are the channels that I need to pass through for me to get to that end goal. And so it's not your fault. For some of us, it is. For some of us, it's not. Because of how we've grown up, what we've gone through, the education system we've gone through. What we need to understand is all of us, once you get out into the world from university, you and that guy on the street, that guy who doesn't have papers, we're all on the same level. As much as you're told you're not on the same level, you're all on the same level. You're gunning for the same business. You're gunning for the same positions. And so it's all about what are you willing to do in your area of passion and in your area of purpose for you to get to that position. What are you willing to do? Are you willing to break the mold? Are you willing to have a digital or a mental shift in regards to how you take on these things in life? Or are you willing to stay in that mold? Because if you stay in that mold that has been curated for us for the past how many years, then that is where we will fail.
Oh, George Kagwe, that's interesting. Look, I don't take much of the time. I've got two last questions. So, one, you mentioned about risk. What is the relations between risk and passion? And again, I'm talking about, excuse me, I'm talking about those young people, again, that are still in university, in college, and, and are kind of not confused or worried, what's there for them. Or some of them just graduated. And as you say, you need to know what your purpose is. But when you are desperate, you don't care about purpose. You care about putting food on the table. So
exactly. So it's easier for you to be more risk, or for you to take more risk when you're younger, because you don't have a lot of, sorry, not chains or shackles, but you don't have a lot of responsibilities. Right now, for me as a family man, for you, Kevin, as a family man, it's very hard for you to take some certain risks in life. All right. But once you start having a family, you get a wife, you or a husband, and you start getting kids. Trying to do some risky things becomes very hard, because now you have responsibilities. When you're younger, it's very easy for you to take risks. So I'll give a very good example. It's for me, when I was younger and I was in university, I realized that it didn't really make sense for a lecturer to come into class and I know this is not a very good example, especially for parents. They'll be like, hey, this guy is teaching my kids something different. But I found it very, very counterproductive that a lecturer would come, give me a handout, and read me that same handout for me to write it in a book, right? I'm like, you've given me a handout. Why should you read it to me, yet I have it, and then I write it in a book? And so I found a way of how I would skive classes. And I would skive classes to now go do different things. I would go do more auditions. Me and a friend even started a computer business where we used to take all computers, refurbish them, and sell them to university students, to startup companies, and so on and so forth. And now that became my main gig. And I really learned a lot of stuff in that regard. Because for me, I looked at time as a very pricey resource, time. So I found it very time wasting for this person to come and do that. And it wasn't all lecturers, it was just some lecturers who I found were very lazy in terms of what they were doing. And so for me, I could be able to do that risk at that time. I could be able to have different hustles. I could get out of the house at 6 o'clock, come back at midnight. No one would ask me anything, because I'm in control of my own time. And so looking at it in this day and age right now, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to go and do? And during this COVID period, I would say a lot of young people have tried a lot of businesses. There are people who are delivering groceries to people's homes as much as they have a degree, right? There are people who have borrowed their friends' cars and they're selling vegetables off the boot of a car. There are people who've come online and have become online sensations, from the Aziads to the Majimbos and so on and so forth. So there's so much, like, you have to understand, they can take that risk. Majimbo was rejected here. She went and immersed herself in a South African audience, and now she's a global sensation, right? You have to understand, and that's why I say that the internet has no borders. You who's seeking for a job right now in this country, there are borders. There are borders. There are only a certain amount of jobs that are guaranteed each and every year, okay? But there are new opportunities that people have no idea about, because everybody else is in a mold and have placed us in a mold. There are opportunities out there that people would have never thought about. There are people who would have never thought about that a guy acting as a lady, as an M-Pesa lady, will become a regional sensation.
Yes.
You get, if you're listening, I hope you're getting it. So you have to take those crazy ideas that you have when you can't sleep, when you're trying to count sheep to sleep, those crazy ideas, execute them. When I say take risks, is execute those ideas that don't need much budget, that don't need huge budgets and huge resources. They just need your time. They need a few bundles. They probably need for you to just go and mobilize a few friends and family if you want to start a physical business and to start doing it and get some debt from them. Borrow money and start it. But that's the risk I'm talking about. Right now, you as a young person, now you're in your 20s. Now is the time you can do so much. Don't be limited to those papers that you have. Those papers haven't worked. Put them aside. Go start doing something that you think you've been passionate. Have you been passionate about entrepreneurship, metalwork, sculpting, business, small business, selling of makeup, whatever it is? Go and start doing it. You'll find you're so good in it that will become the next big thing. Are you an inventor? Innovate. Invent something. That thing that you've been trying to invent, try it, do it, invent it. Go show people, have a small audience, show people online that have made this thing, who would like to test this thing. I've made the first lightest drone in the world. Whatever it is, if you're an inventor, do it. You have a global audience. People are watching. People are looking for people like you each and every day. You have to get out and do it.
Oh, George, man, goodness me. Second question, and so I've got to pass the second question. Hey, we'll talk about passion and showing yourself online, but also internet is a very, very dark place, isn't it?
Yes.
And I'm going to use it as an example. I can't correct you if I'm wrong, but because I'm a fan, I'll be following what you do. There was a time where you yourself, you experienced bullying online.
Yes.
But you survived.
Yes.
So again, you're talking to someone. So when you talk to someone like someone who is 24, 25, who who are a bit, lacking a bit of confidence, but they want to show to the world what they can do, and they go to the internet and they find crazy people. How can they mitigate that? How can they soldier on with or without bullies? Again, I'll take you as an example because I do know that you did experience lots of bullies.
Yes, I did. And the thing about bullies always brings me to the conversation of self-awareness, which again is about finding your purpose, your true purpose. And this is somewhere that, again, it's not your fault, even that if you're not self-aware, it's not your fault. It could be something that has happened in your life. It could be a very dark thing that happened in your life. It could be how you were brought up, different things that were said to you, because again, the power of the tongue. So different things that were said to you, over the period, could be your parents, siblings, relatives, look at you, you're just fat, you'll never be this, you'll never have a husband. There are those things that people say that are inculcated in our culture that people think it's norm, but it's not, but it really damages people. So for me, one thing that I really thank God for is by the time I've been out here into this space, I'm really self-aware. And what I do to my haters is I normally I give them a virtual hug, I love on them. And I'm like, whatever. By the way, let me explain it. You have to understand, by the time someone who doesn't know you comes and says something negative about you, like, think about it, Kevin. Just look outside your window. If you're home right now, or walk outside and you don't know someone, just go to them and tell them you have a fat nose. You don't have that courage, right? It's not something that, by the time someone does that, there's something wrong with you. There's you are the problem. It's not you. It's not you who is receiving that negativity. And so the way I view them is, I'm like, these guys are in a very deep hole. They've just chosen me as the person now to come and punch. So I'm their punching bag. And if you go and check out those comments, I just come and like, I love you. Don't worry. Jesus loves you. Like, for real. I love you. I give you a hug. Whatever you're going through, you'll make it. Okay? But at the same time, because of a community, people now are more aware. So this is the second level. First level is yourself. You need to guard yourself. So, and I'll show you the first level as a human being guarding yourself is being self-aware. Loving yourself. Love yourself before anyone loves you. Whether I'm fat, tall, dark, thin, slender, ugly, handsome, whatever it is, if you don't love yourself, then people now will be the guys, they'll be your governors. They'll be the guys who now be the metric of how much you love yourself. Because someone told you, oh, you look nice, now you love yourself. You should wake up and be like, yo, you're the guy, you're the most handsome guy, you're Mr. World, you're Miss World, you go do you, okay? So that's the first human level. The second level now is community-based. So you'll find that there'll be times when you get slander, and I've found it so many times. People will come, oh, go to the gym, go do this. Someone comes and is like, a different person who I don't know comes and is like, who asked you? Does it look like he's looking for advice about the gym? Do you know what he's doing in his life for him to be able to lose and shed the weight? Go take your opinion somewhere else. So you get a community kind of protection. But the other third level is also the platforms. So if you're getting onto the online platforms, and here I'm always sensitive to say that not everybody is at the same level. Not everybody is at the same self-awareness level as I am. and so on and so forth. So if you're getting onto these platforms and you know that these comments will come and really affect your mental health, because for me, mental health is everything. Mental and physical health is everything for you. So number one, the platforms allow you to block comments or approve and decline comments. So that's one thing you can do. It also allows you to be able to approve and accept DMs and inboxes. So you can go into your security features and you put that in place. Or you can totally just disregard comments. You can be like, every post you do, you switch off comments. No one can come and comment. No one can come and do anything. People can just come and click like, love, whatever it is, and they can share. And that's it. Okay, so that's something you can do for the social platforms. So for that, because I know it can be a very dark place, but at the same time, it can equally be also a great space where now you can get people who really support you. And I say this because we have the global sensation Majimbo has gone through this as well. And you can see how, for her as a young girl who's now just checked into her 20s, you can see how that has really worked out. Because guys, I tell you, there are 3 to 4 billion people on the internet. A few handful of 100 people who will hate on you, they don't matter. They're just a drop in the ocean. There's a whole body of water waiting for you to conquer it. And once we start now getting that muscle to be able to go through these negative things, it's just like school. It's like life. In life, there are bullies. You drive on the road, there are bullies. In school, there are bullies. It's just how you're able to navigate those waters. So you can either on a personal level, which is always I advise, get to be self-aware. Number two, build your community. And once you start building your community, even if it's one person, it grows into 100, into 1,000, into 1,000,000 people. These people will protect you, but also the platforms themselves and the law also protects people from bullies nowadays.
Oh, George, you know what? I needed to hear that. You know, I live in London. I work in London myself at the moment. And I'm in an industry where race kind of matter. What's your next step in? You see what I mean? And you tell me right now that it doesn't matter what people say. You know, I needed to hear that, to be honest with you.
Awesome.
You know, it's important for us to keep reminding ourselves. But sometimes, even when you look successful, but you know, you can still kind of be shaken. You know, so I think what you've said is very, very important, and I'm glad to hear that. My last question for you, George, is passion vis-a-vis career. There are lots of people that, you know, I go to school because I want to be a doctor. Okay, it's not necessarily because I'm passionate about helping people, but because I know that it has a good paycheck.
Yeah.
You know, and most of the times, people decide this without even knowledge. For example, I'm talking about someone who's in university right now and is doing communication, for instance. You know, and it's like, I'm not doing communication because I'm passionate about it, but I'm doing communication because I want to be someone like George, or I want to be Karamutoko, for instance, like that. So again, please talk to me about that.
I mean, simple formula in life: passion, people, profit, in that order. Never profit, people, passion. Now, again, the system teaches us profit, people, passion. So you find the area with profit, then you find the people, and then you try and grow a passion in it. Whereas it should be passion, people, profit. So the first thing that you need to be about is passionate about it. For example, just to use an example, what's the return on investment of a basketball to you, Kevin? It's zero. If I give you a basketball right now, it's zero. Okay?
That's true.
But the return on investment of a basketball to James or Dwayne Wade, right, and Steph Curry is billions of shillings. Okay?
Yes.
Now the problem is for us, all of us, that's why we have the M-Pesa phenomenon, M-Pesa shop phenomenon, where we had Kevin started an M-Pesa shop and he's making 400,000 Kenya shillings in a month. And you're like, wow, you immediately start from the profit. So you're like, even me, I can make 400,000 Kenya shillings. Yes, so you go and open a shop. And then the other guy, and so you go to a street in Nairobi or whatever city you're in Kenya, and you find so many M-Pesa shops and you wonder why. It's because of that. It's because people always start from the place of profit. Not understanding that the ROI of that shop to you could be zero because you're not passionate about that business. You're not passionate about that career. So we need to always start from the area passion over career. I always say passion over profit. Don't go into a space because of just a paycheck. So, and I've learned it. Even when I was working in Kenya, after that I got into a job, IT consulting job for audit audit and risk management software that we were selling across Africa and Europe and the likes. And it involved the same thing, flying around. And I realized I'm not passionate about this thing. Yes, it's giving me a paycheck, but this is a kind of behavior and thinking that has made the workplace the place it is right now toxic, because people don't love their jobs. And because you don't love your jobs, because you're not fulfilling your passion, you're not fulfilling your purpose, you have to find a way and advice on how to be able to release from this. So what happens? Many people end up in bars. People get out of work and you go into a bar. You go into a bar because you're going to release. You are empty. Your bank account is full, but inside you're empty. Okay? If you check yourself, you're empty inside, because that career that you've chosen is just about the money. And because it's just about the money, even that doctor, you've become a doctor because of the money. You're not passionate about helping people. You're just passionate about the fact that I'll be getting 1 million at the end of the day, and that's it for you. Okay, now because of their codes of ethics and everything, you have to be very good at that job, but it's not your passion. It's not your passion area. And that now is what is ailing our work environment. We have so many people working in banks, that's why we have bad customer service. That's why we have issues within industries, because you have corruption and so on and so forth, because people come in from a profit perspective rather than coming in from a passion perspective. And that's why you see today YouTubers, okay? The social platforms, you cannot rig passion on social media. You can't rig. You can't say that I'm a vlogger for travel and you start and expect that you will earn the same amount of money as the biggest vlogger on YouTube in travel. You can't fake it. You go to a travel place, you start talking, people will know whether you're passionate or not. Okay? You can't start saying, oh, this place, this, that. Immediately people start, you're not passionate. They disregard your channel and they move on. That's why the internet space has come now to just redeem everything, because you cannot say you're passionate about finance. And the minute you start talking about finance, I'm like, you're not knowledgeable. I really don't feel your zeal. I don't feel your passion. You're not that guy. Okay? So it's very important for all of us to note that, again, it is the reverse of what we've been taught. But this is what we need to really exemplify and amplify in society. Starts with your passion. It starts with people. Connect with people through that passion that you have, and then the profits will follow you. As a Christian, it's the same principle that is taught in the Bible. Okay, you need to start from the passion area. It goes into your people, social skills, how you connect with people, and how people connect with you, and then the money just follows you. That's just how it is.
Wow, they do say that money follows value, isn't it? If you got the value, people come to you.
Value.
Where do people like you, or how can you be assessed? Because what you're telling me, to be honest with you, it's a privilege, and people that will be listening to this, they will know why I'm saying it's a privilege. What you're telling me, again, they don't teach in school. And also, because of experience, there are lots of people, we need that kind of guidance, that kind of mentorship. How do people find people like you? Because I just feel like, lots of role models, lots of people like you are hiding behind the internet, and someone from, you think the remotest area in Kenya, okay? There's this kid that's very passionate about whatever it is, but they don't know how to develop it. They don't know how to cultivate this kind of passion. Why do people like you, why are you guys not talking to people? Or why are you so difficult to assess?
Well, I think, for example, for me, I talk to a lot of people on my Instagram and even Facebook inbox. There are a lot of people who reach out to me and they're like, yo, please mentor me. I don't like the word mentor, but, please guide me in regards to this, that, the other. And I've really guided quite a few, especially in this COVID period, where I give voice notes, I do whatever it is. I'm able to now just assist people. So, I mean, if you look for people, and depends on the kind of people that you. So for me, if you DM me, for example, if you want to reach out to me, if you're on Instagram or any other even on WhatsApp, I have a number that is on all my social platforms. You reach out to me on WhatsApp and we'll have a conversation about this platform, because I'm passionate about it. I don't have to be paid to do it. Again, passion is something that you can do even for free, by the way. You wake up and that's the first thing that you can be able to do at the snap of a finger, right? So that's how I also define passion. So it's something that I also share a lot. I have done also videos. That's why I do a lot of interviews. That's why I also do this podcast. I just did a podcast as well for someone else in the last week. So the reason why I do this is so that I can share as much as possible. The more I am on people's platforms, the more people get informed. That's why I go for interviews. That's why I do lots of speaking engagements and webinars for people as well. I just did one for a church. I did another one for Hivos, so on and so forth. Like, the reason why I do that is so that people can get this information in whatever form. So, for example, you'll put this video out or you'll put a podcast out. Someone might download it or rip it or pirate it and share it on WhatsApp. But it will get to someone eventually. And so that's the power of the internet. For me, I try my level best, even on my LinkedIn, to come in and bring positivity and talk to younger people and tell them, guys, this is what you need to do. Because me, I did it. This is what you need to be able to do. And so my call, even for people who are in this position, is to just do more of giving back to society. It's not really a CSR, but in terms of tell your story. You know, the problem with us as an African continent is we do not tell our stories. The reason why America is great is because they told their stories. They really sold us, and they marketed themselves so well that we today think America is the greatest country in the world, whereas there are many other countries that are greater, right? But the thing about it is we need to really always tell our stories, and that's why it's very important to tell our stories of our make or break, the good and the bad and the ugly, so that people can learn. That small boy in a very remote area will somehow come across a piece of content, or even come across something that we have said, either through written, whatever it is, but they'll come across it and they'll read it and it will change their life. It just takes that one moment. And so my call for people who are in a position like myself is to do more of this. It's not just about the big platforms. It's not about going on to people's big, if CNN calls you, you run. No, these are the platforms you need to be on. Mtandao Varsity, because you have your own audience. You have your audience who is paying attention right now, and they'll disseminate that in. Maybe someone right now who's watching this is in an NGO world, will rip this video, either request you to send it to them, and they'll go to Mashinani and show it to those kids, right? And that will be a source of inspiration to them, for them to be the next greatest Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and so on. So it's very important for us to do this. So for me, just to answer your question, it's what I have in my hand right now. I can't be able to reach everyone, but through the internet platforms, we can strive and do our level best to try and reach everyone through these platforms.
Oh, George, man, come on. I mean, that's just unbelievable. And again, I've got some viewers that have not paid you to say this kind of stuff, And again, I'm really, really grateful, George, for gracing this podcast. I think you've actually spoken to me, let alone my viewers, because we need to hear these kind of things,
Yeah.
We normally read about them, those people read, but actually to hear people that have gone through this journey and they've seen it work, I think it's very, very important. George, every guest that comes to my show, I usually ask them to introduce you to the next person. And I know these two people that they follow you. I know you hang out with them, so I'm going to ask you. Are you met with MC Jesse?
Yeah, I've met MC Jesse for sure. Yeah.
Right.
I know MC Jesse. I've worked with him a few times. Yeah.
Dude, bring him to the show, man.
For sure.
No, George, I'm serious. I mean, I've tried to reach Martina. I cannot. I mean, these guys are very busy, and it's a very busy video, Christmas, whatever. But for example, somebody introduced me to you. I want to mention their name, but somebody said, "Listen, George will always reply." Because what I said is, I saw this person, and I said, I want to have George Kagwe, but that guy is huge, man. I'm nobody, you wouldn't even know who I am. So and this person told me, "Listen, George is unbelievable. You write to him and let me know if they don't." And here we are, we're talking. So come on, man. Are you going to give me MC Jesse? Just introduce him to me. If it happens, yes. If it doesn't, okay. But I want you to introduce me to him.
For sure. In fact, the first point of introducing will be here. Hey, MC Jesse, come to Mtandao Varsity. Cut this video, put it on Instagram, put it everywhere, tag him.
Oh my goodness. Wait, cheers, Baba. We've got to end the show by telling me what's happened to Christmas with the Cheers Baba guy.
That what is happening to what? Say that again.
For Christmas Day. What's Cheers Baba doing on Christmas Day?
Hey, cheers, Baba will be cooling some nyaks over here, some nyama nini on the barbecue, on the grill, bana. You know how it is, bana. You know, a few drinks here and there, bana. You know, with my family and a few guys who visiting here and there. That's what will be. It will be popping, but it will be happening. You know what happens? You know what comes before part B? Party!
Oh, George, man, listen, you've made my day. Listen,
Awesome.
you know what, London right now, we're not going to year 4. It's quite sad. It's, you know, it's a very depressing moment for us, for sure. So, man, you've lightened my day. I'll be going to work, very happy guy. I cannot thank you enough, George. I really can't. And I'm glad that, you know, we've met, and now I'm your friend by force, okay?
Sure.
You cannot ignore me.
Sure.
You know, I'm going to say wish you a very Merry Christmas to you and your lovely daughter. And what's the lady? I should know the lady. Not is Scholar her real name, or Scholar is an act?
No.
Is an act.
Karemi, that's a character, yeah.
So what's her real name?
Karemi.
Karemi, right? Listen, Karemi, George is amazing, man, and I've got Christmas card for you, Karemi, and George will deliver it to you. If he doesn't, please let me know, and we shall shame him online.
Awesome. Thank you.
George, thank you so much. And you have a nice day. And a very Merry Christmas to you, mate.
Merry Christmas, man. Thank you, Kevin Onyango, for what you're doing, bro. Continue doing.
Thank you. Cheers.
Right.
Thank you very much.